Have you ever found yourself deeply in love, only to realize that the attachment to that love has begun to hurt you and the one you care about? This is a common struggle and stems from a misunderstanding of the difference between love and attachment. Today, we'll uncover this distinction and explore how to love without the pain of clinging attachment. Love in its truest form says, I desire your happiness. It says, if your happiness includes me, then I am blessed. If not, I still wish you joy. This is selfless love. It seeks no conditions. It places no demands. It shines with the light of care, no matter the circumstances. Attachment, however, says something very different. It says, you exist to make me happy. And if the other person falters, if they cannot meet your expectations, you begin to question them, to demand of them. Why aren't you making me happy? Why aren't you doing enough? Do you see the difference? Love focuses outward, seeking the other's joy. Attachment focuses inward, chasing fulfillment for oneself. When you love, you release. When you are attached, you grasp. And it is this grasping, this unwillingness to let go, that leads to pain. Let us look at how attachment begins. You meet someone and you think to yourself, this person is perfect for me. I want to hold on to them forever. And so you cling to them tightly. You begin to overprotect them. You impose restrictions. Don't talk to this person. Don't go to that place. Don't use social media. You try to control their every move. But here is the truth. The tighter you hold, the more they will pull away. Just as you value your freedom, so do they. No one likes to feel trapped. And in your effort to control, you may lose the very person you wanted to hold close. This is where fear creeps in. You start to think, what if they leave me? What will become of me? This fear consumes you, turning your world into chaos. But let us remember a truth that is both difficult and liberating. Nothing in this world is permanent. Every person, every relationship, and every moment is subject to change. Even the people we love most will one day leave us. This is the reality of life. Buddha, peace be upon him, taught us to remember this truth. Everyone you love and everyone who loves you will one day leave you. Whether through life's twists and turns or through the inevitability of death, separation is certain. This realization is not meant to bring despair. It is meant to awaken gratitude. When you understand that your time with someone is limited, you begin to cherish each moment. You realize that life is fleeting and precious. You let go of control and instead embrace love, kindness, and compassion. To truly love someone, you must accept 3 fundamental truths. 1, that everything is subject to change. Life is ever-changing. Clinging to the idea of permanence only brings suffering. 2, everyone carries their own struggles. Just as you have your trials, others bear theirs. They cannot meet all your expectations because they are navigating their own challenges. And 3, no one is under your complete control. You cannot dictate how others act, think, or feel. Their journey is their own. When you embrace these truths, you are freed from the need to control. Love becomes a gift, not a demand. You can say, I wish you joy, whether you stay with me or go your own way. Your happiness is my happiness. This is love that liberates, not love that binds. Pure love does not hurt, attachment does. When you release attachment, you open your heart to peace. You begin to love in a way that uplifts, not in a way that burdens. You love selflessly, and in doing so, you free both yourself and the one you cherish. Are you loving freely or are you holding on too tightly? True love requires courage, understanding, and the ability to let go. When you love selflessly, you find peace, not only for yourself, but for those you care about. May your love be pure, your heart be free, and your life be filled with joy and harmony. Understand the difference between love and attachment. Attachment often masquerades as love, but beneath its surface lies a world of clinging and dependency. While love is expansive and freeing, attachment tightens its grip, creating a sense of possession and fear. When we confuse attachment with love, we may find ourselves holding on not for the sake of the other's happiness, but out of our own need for security or validation. This subtle but significant distinction is at the heart of why love often feels painful when entwined with attachment. Recognizing the difference allows us to approach relationships with greater clarity and authenticity. Attachment operates from a place of "I need." It seeks fulfillment by relying on another person to fill an emotional void or provide happiness. Love, on the other hand, comes from a space of inner abundance. It says, "I am happy when you are happy," and does so without conditions or expectations. This selfless nature of love makes it a force that uplifts and supports rather than one that clings and demands. Love thrives in freedom, while attachment suffocates under the weight of control and fear. The subtlety of attachment is that it often begins with a genuine care for someone, but slowly shifts into dependency. When we unconsciously tie our happiness to their presence or behavior, we begin to create expectations that may not align with the natural flow of life. This can lead to frustration, jealousy, or pain when those expectations go unmet. In contrast, love allows us to witness and celebrate another person's journey without trying to dictate or alter its course. Love trusts while attachment doubts. To start untangling love from attachment, it helps to cultivate a practice of reflection. Take a moment to think about someone you deeply care for and examine the nature of your connection. Are your actions and feelings rooted in a genuine wish for their happiness, or are they tied to a fear of losing them? This can be a challenging question to face, as it often uncovers hidden insecurities or unmet needs within ourselves. However, awareness is the first step toward transformation, offering a chance to grow beyond the confines of attachment. It's important to understand that letting go of attachment doesn't mean withdrawing love. In fact, it allows love to become more authentic and nourishing. Without the weight of clinging, love can flourish in its purest form, one that seeks no reward and imposes no conditions. Imagine the liberating power of loving someone simply for who they are, without any agenda or desire to control their path. This kind of love, while rare, is profoundly healing for both the giver and the receiver. Cultivating such love requires patience and self-awareness. It means continually checking in with ourselves to ensure that our intentions are aligned with the well-being of the other person, rather than our own fears or desires. It also involves cultivating a sense of inner fulfillment so that we don't rely on another person to complete us. When we feel whole and content within ourselves, we are able to love from a place of abundance rather than need. This shift from attachment to love is not always easy, but it is deeply rewarding. It invites us to move beyond the fleeting highs and lows of clinging relationships and into a state of peace and joy. By letting go of the fear of loss, we open ourselves to a kind of love that is limitless and enduring. It is a love that liberates, nurtures, and uplifts without demanding anything in return. Through reflection and practice, we can learn to love in this way, creating relationships that are both meaningful and free from unnecessary pain. Embrace impermanence. All things in life, including relationships, are subject to change. This truth can feel unsettling, but it is also profoundly liberating. When we embrace impermanence, we begin to see the beauty of the present moment for what it truly is: fleeting, unique, and irreplaceable. Recognizing that nothing lasts forever doesn't diminish the value of what we have. Rather, it enhances it by encouraging us to cherish each experience as it unfolds. The temporary nature of life becomes a reminder to love fully, live authentically, and let go of the fear of what might be lost. So often we become preoccupied with the future, clinging to the hope that relationships will stay the same or fearing the possibility that they may change. This clinging prevents us from truly appreciating the now. When we focus on what we have in this moment, without the need for it to last forever, a sense of deep gratitude arises. Love becomes less about possession and more about presence, about showing up fully for ourselves and the people we care for. By anchoring ourselves in the present, we allow love to flow freely, without the weight of expectations or the shadow of fear. Instead of fearing loss, we can choose to cherish the time we have with our loved ones. Each interaction becomes a precious opportunity to connect, to share, and to simply be together. Imagine holding a beautiful flower in your hands. Knowing it will wither does not lessen its beauty. In fact, it makes the moment of holding it even more profound. Relationships are much the same. When we release the need for permanence, we open ourselves to experiencing them in their fullness without the anxiety of what comes next. A powerful practice in embracing impermanence is to consciously remind ourselves this moment is enough. These simple words, when repeated with intention, can transform how we approach our interactions. Saying this aloud or silently in our minds invites us to let go of distractions and focus entirely on the here and now. It's a way of affirming that we don't need to grasp at what we have or demand more from it. The moment, in its fleeting nature, holds everything we need. Gratitude is a natural companion to the acceptance of impermanence. Reflecting on the moments we've shared with those we love helps shift our mindset from clinging to celebrating. A beautiful way to practice this is by creating a gratitude list for someone you care about. Think of the times you've laughed together, supported each other, or simply enjoyed each other's presence. As you write these moments down, notice how your heart softens and your perspective changes. Each memory becomes a source of joy, a reminder that love is not diminished by time, but enriched by it. This shift from grasping to gratitude is transformative. It allows us to see that what we have shared with others, no matter how brief, has a lasting impact. Love, when viewed through the lens of impermanence, becomes a series of precious, unrepeatable gifts rather than something we must hold on to tightly. The act of cherishing rather than clinging creates a profound sense of peace within us. It helps us let go of the anxiety of trying to keep things the same and instead invites us to honor the natural flow of life. Embracing impermanence is not about resigning ourselves to loss, but about finding joy in the transient beauty of life and relationships. When we live with this awareness, every moment becomes a celebration. We learn to love with an open heart, to appreciate with clarity, and to find deep fulfillment in the present. This perspective allows us to experience a lighter, more liberating kind of love, one that thrives not despite impermanence, but because of it. Cultivate self-love. Attachment frequently arises when we look outward to fill gaps within ourselves. When we depend on others to validate our worth or bring us happiness, we create a fragile foundation for relationships, one that often leads to disappointment and pain. This dynamic places an impossible burden on others, as no one can ever truly fulfill the inner needs we must address ourselves. By shifting the focus inward and recognizing our completeness, we can begin to break free from the cycle of dependency and cultivate love that is pure and enduring. Recognizing your inherent worth is a deeply transformative practice. It involves understanding that you are enough just as you are, without needing external approval or affection. Take time each day to connect with this truth, whether through meditation, journaling, or simply sitting in quiet reflection. Embrace the idea that your value is intrinsic and unchanging, not dependent on achievements, possessions, or relationships. This realization can be a powerful first step in creating a sense of self-sufficiency and emotional stability. Engaging in activities that bring you joy independently of others is another meaningful way to nurture self-love. Rediscover hobbies, passions, or experiences that make your heart sing, whether it's painting, hiking, cooking, or learning a new skill. These moments of connection with yourself can create a wellspring of happiness and peace that doesn't rely on external circumstances. By cultivating these solo joys, you begin to anchor your sense of fulfillment in your own being rather than in someone else's presence. Mindful affirmations are an invaluable tool for rewiring the mind and fostering self-acceptance. One powerful affirmation to repeat daily is, "I am whole as I am. My love flows freely, without seeking anything in return." When you recite this affirmation, let the words sink deeply into your consciousness. Imagine them dissolving any feelings of inadequacy or fear. Over time, these affirmations become more than just words. They shape your belief system and help you release the need for validation from others. Learning to enjoy your own company is another step in strengthening self-love. Spend time alone intentionally, not as an escape, but as a way to nurture a deeper relationship with yourself. Use this time to explore your thoughts, emotions, and desires without judgment. Consider journaling to reflect on what brings you joy or areas in your life where you feel disconnected. These moments of introspection can reveal insights into how you can better support and care for yourself. As you cultivate self-love, you may notice a shift in how you approach relationships. When your sense of fulfillment comes from within, your love becomes lighter, freer, and more genuine. You stop seeking others to complete you and start sharing love as a gift rather than as a transaction. This not only transforms your relationships, but also liberates you from the fear of loss, as your happiness is no longer tethered to external sources. The journey of self-love is not about perfection, but about creating a compassionate and nurturing relationship with yourself. It is a practice of reminding yourself daily that you are enough. Through these small but significant steps, you can build a foundation of inner strength and joy, allowing you to love others more fully, without attachment, and to experience relationships as a source of mutual growth and connection, rather than a means of filling emotional voids. Practice loving kindness, metta, meditation. Metta meditation, also known as loving kindness meditation, is a practice that nurtures unconditional love and compassion for both yourself and others. It serves as a gentle yet profound tool for releasing attachment and embracing a purer form of love. The process begins by creating a serene environment where you can focus inwardly, find a quiet space, free from distractions, and take a comfortable seat. Close your eyes, letting the world around you fade as you turn your attention to your breath. Allow each inhale and exhale to guide you toward a state of calm presence. As you settle into stillness, silently offer kind and loving wishes to yourself. Repeat the phrases, "May I be happy, may I be peaceful, may I be free from suffering." Speak these words with sincerity, directing them toward your heart with a sense of warmth and care. This step is essential as it builds a foundation of self-compassion, reminding you that you too are deserving of love and kindness. Let each repetition soften any harsh judgments you hold against yourself, dissolving self-criticism and replacing it with acceptance and gentleness. Once your heart feels lighter, expand these wishes outward. Imagine someone you care deeply about, someone who brings joy to your life. Visualize them in your mind's eye and silently offer the same loving intentions. May you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be free from suffering. Feel the sincerity of your words as they flow toward this person, enveloping them in a warm embrace of kindness. This act of giving love without expectation begins to loosen the grip of attachment, allowing your affection to flourish in its purest form. Gradually broaden the circle of your compassion to include acquaintances or neutral individuals, those you may see regularly but feel no strong connection to. Picture them clearly and extend the same wishes. May you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be free from suffering. Notice how this practice starts to dissolve the barriers of separation, replacing indifference with a sense of shared humanity. It's a reminder that everyone, regardless of their role in your life, seeks happiness and freedom from suffering, just as you do. As your heart opens further, you may encounter the challenge of extending loving kindness to someone who has hurt or wronged you. While it may feel difficult at first, offering metta to those who are difficult to love can be deeply transformative. Visualize them with compassion, understanding that their actions may stem from their own pain or confusion. Silently repeat, "May you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be free from suffering." Now, this step is not about condoning harm, but about releasing resentment and cultivating a sense of inner freedom. Eventually, allow your loving kindness to encompass all beings everywhere, without exception. Imagine your goodwill radiating outward like ripples in a pond, reaching people, animals, and even the natural world. Feel the boundless nature of your love as it transcends boundaries, touching every corner of existence. By this point, your practice becomes a reflection of the interconnectedness of all life, dissolving the illusion of separation and reinforcing the unity we share. Throughout this meditation, you may notice subtle shifts in your emotions and mindset. With consistent practice, metta meditation helps untangle the knots of attachment by grounding your love in freedom and selflessness. It allows you to relate to yourself and others with a heart unburdened by clinging, fear, or expectation. Over time, this practice transforms the way you approach relationships, fostering a love that is vast, compassionate, and free. Let go of control. Attachment often arises from our deep-seated desire to control the outcomes of our relationships or the behaviors of those we care about. This need for control often masks our fears, fear of loss, rejection, or uncertainty. In love, however, this attempt to grasp too tightly can create strain and suffocation, both for ourselves and for the other person. True love is not about control, it is about freedom. It flourishes when we release the expectations and conditions we impose, allowing it to flow naturally and authentically. The idea of letting go can feel counterintuitive, especially when we care deeply about someone. We often believe that our love means doing everything we can to guide or protect them. While this intention may come from a place of kindness, it can inadvertently lead to frustration and disappointment when the other person does not meet our expectations or follow the path we envision for them. Love is not about shaping someone into what we desire, but about honoring their individuality and journey, even when it differs from our own. Letting go of control begins with recognizing the limits of our influence. No matter how much we care, we cannot fix or save anyone, nor is it our responsibility to do so. Each person has their own path, shaped by their choices, experiences, and lessons. When we release the pressure to take ownership of someone else's journey, we free ourselves from unnecessary burdens and allow the other person to grow in their own way. This acceptance is not a sign of indifference, but rather a profound act of trust and respect. As we let go, we may notice a newfound sense of ease within ourselves. No longer tethered to the outcomes of others' actions or decisions, we can refocus on what we can control: our own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. This shift empowers us to love more openly and generously because our love is no longer tied to expectations. It becomes a gift freely given, without strings or conditions. In this freedom, love thrives, unburdened by the weight of control. Trusting the flow of life is a central aspect of letting go. Life is unpredictable and ever-changing, and our attempts to control it often lead to frustration. Instead of resisting this natural flow, we can choose to align ourselves with it. By surrendering to the present moment and embracing life as it unfolds, we cultivate a deeper sense of peace. This trust extends to our relationships, where we can find comfort in knowing that love, when nurtured with sincerity, will take its course. A helpful practice in this process is to adopt a mantra or affirmation that grounds us in the act of releasing. Repeating phrases like, "I release my hold," "I trust the flow of life," "Love is enough," can serve as a gentle reminder to let go of the need for control. These words are not just a declaration, but an invitation to lean into the profound simplicity of love without attachment. They encourage us to embrace the present moment, appreciate what is, and release fears of what might be. Through this practice of letting go, we discover that love does not diminish when freed from control. It expands. It becomes a source of joy, compassion, and resilience, untainted by the anxieties of expectation. By loosening our grip, we create space for love to flow in its truest form, offering both ourselves and others the freedom to grow, connect, and simply be. Serve without expecting anything in return. Selfless acts of kindness are a profound way to nurture love free from attachment. When we give without expecting anything in return, our actions become an expression of pure, unconditional love. This kind of giving is not about earning approval or receiving gratitude. It is about embodying compassion and generosity in its purest form. Acts of selflessness, no matter how small, create ripples of positive energy that uplift not only those we help but also ourselves. Each gesture becomes a reminder that love is most powerful when it flows freely, without being tied to outcomes or reciprocation. Volunteering is one of the most tangible ways to practice this principle, whether it's offering your time at a local shelter, mentoring someone in need, or helping a neighbor with their groceries. Such acts cultivate a sense of connection and purpose. These moments allow us to step outside our personal desires and focus entirely on the well-being of others. By immersing ourselves in service, we not only make a difference, but also experience the deep satisfaction of contributing to something larger than ourselves. The act of giving itself becomes the reward rather than any recognition or return. Sometimes selfless love is as simple as being present. Truly listening to someone without judgment, interruption, or the urge to offer advice can be one of the most generous things we do. In a world where many people feel unseen or unheard, offering your full attention is a gift of immense value. When we listen with an open heart, we communicate that the person before us matters, that their story and feelings are valid. This form of quiet service often strengthens bonds and fosters a deeper understanding, showing that love can be shared through the simplest of actions. Selflessness also teaches us the art of letting go. When we act without expectation, we release the tight grip of attachment and control that often accompanies our relationships. Serving others without seeking acknowledgement helps us dissolve ego-driven desires, such as needing to be appreciated or admired. Instead, we find joy in the act of giving itself. This shift allows us to love more expansively, free from the fear of rejection or disappointment. Over time, this mindset nurtures inner peace and strengthens our ability to love with clarity and compassion. As we engage in selfless acts, it's important to reflect on our motivations and approach each day with an intention to love more generously. Ask yourself, how can I make someone's day a little brighter? What can I give without expecting anything in return? By making these reflections part of our daily practice, we can transform small acts of kindness into a way of life. This doesn't just improve the lives of those around us, it also softens our own hearts and deepens our understanding of what it means to love unconditionally. Reflect on the nature of true freedom. True love is an act of liberation, both for yourself and the one you love. When love is bound by possessiveness or fear of loss, it becomes constrictive and heavy, suffocating its natural beauty. To truly love is to honor the autonomy of another while nurturing a connection that is free from the chains of control. It is in this spaciousness that love can breathe, grow, and flourish in its most authentic form. Rather than holding on tightly, love asks us to open our hearts and trust in the ebb and flow of life. Imagine love as a bird resting gently in your hands. If you grip it too tightly, its wings will be crushed and it will no longer be free to soar. However, if you open your hands and let it fly, it has the space to return of its own will. This act of letting go is not a loss, but an expression of profound trust and devotion. It requires courage to release our need for guarantees, but in doing so, we honor both the fragility and strength of love. To love freely is to let go of the illusion of control and embrace the truth that love thrives when it is unconfined. When we love with freedom, we also free ourselves from the burdens of constant worry and fear. Love grounded in attachment often leads to a cycle of clinging, anxiety, and attempts to control outcomes. But when we recognize that we cannot own another person or dictate the course of a relationship, we begin to experience the serenity that comes with acceptance. This shift doesn't diminish the depth of our love. It deepens it by making it unconditional. It becomes a love that says, "I wish for your happiness, even if it's apart from me." Reflecting on moments of true freedom in relationships can illuminate what it means to love without attachment. Think back to a time when you felt completely at ease in your connection with someone, when you were not weighed down by expectations or insecurities. Perhaps it was a shared moment of laughter or a quiet afternoon spent in companionship where the simplicity of being together was enough. Contrast this with times when fear or clinging overshadowed your love. What changed? The answer often lies in the ability to let go and trust in the natural flow of the relationship. True freedom in love comes when we embrace the impermanence and unpredictability of life. It is a practice of releasing the need to control, of offering our love without strings attached, and of finding peace in the present moment. In loving freely, we liberate not only those we care for, but also ourselves, transforming our relationships into sources of joy and growth rather than pain and restriction. To love without pain is to love with an open hand and an open heart. It is not about giving less, but about giving purely, without conditions or expectations. Letting go of attachment doesn't mean letting go of love. It means allowing love to shine in its truest, most joyful form. Remember, as the Buddha said, you can only lose what you cling to. Let go and watch love transform into a source of endless peace.